One question I often get asked is, why should I not get angry? If I am not angry, people will take advantage of me. Calmness is seen as weakness, not strength. Also, anger gives me the push to take powerful action. Do you feel the same way? Does this question resonate with you? Do you believe in using anger to surge forward in life? Should you or should you not? Let us go into it today. Namaste. Travel with me today only if you have the courage to see the truth. Every one of us knows an angry person. And this angry person could be one of your parents, a friend, a child, a neighbor, or a colleague. Sometimes this angry person could be yourself also. And remember, I am not equating anger with the outward expression of picking fights, shouting, violence, breaking things, road rage, walking out on people. Yes, these are definitely signs of anger, but there is another kind of anger also, one that simmers inside you, like steam in a pressure cooker. Of course, all anger bursts out. It can't be contained. And when it bursts out, it takes everyone around you by surprise, including yourself. Suppressed anger usually takes three forms. One, it becomes a chronic disease over time. Anger is destructive energy. That energy will hurt you and other. Two, it morphs into an addiction. Very strange addictions like stealing, anorexia, or bulimia, or video gaming, substances, or quitting. This is because your repressed anger is so unbearable. You want to run as fast as possible. That is why you quit people, quit relationships, jobs, places. And it is in trying to run you are escaping into addiction. Three, your anger changes shape and becomes bouts of crying and depression. Do you think any of these are constructive? No, not at all. It is destructive to you and others. Did you know that 2 hours after an angry outburst, the chance of having a heart attack doubles? Did you know that there was a 3 times higher risk of having a stroke from a blood clot to the brain or bleeding within the brain during the 2 hours after an angry outburst? Harvard University scientists have found that in healthy people, simply recalling an angry experience from their past caused a 6 hour dip in levels of the antibody immunoglobulin A, the cell's first line of defense against infection. Do you still think your anger is serving you? Now let us address the frequently asked questions. Why can't I use anger to create change in society? Why can't I use anger to bring change in my family? Why can't I use anger to take solid action? Why can't I use anger to push myself to progress? Agreed. Agreed that anger is energy. It has a force to move things. You can scare people with your anger and get things done. Momentary anger or irritation is natural and it subsides. There were moments when Buddha and Sri Krishna were angry too. But when you sustain your anger and try to use it, it will destroy you. It's not merely an emotion, it is a stupid state that alters your brain chemistry and neurology. Your brain's chemistry becomes such that you can only perceive the object of your anger as being negative. You simply forget anything good about the other. Perhaps you're able to create some change in the behavior of a person with your anger. But know that such a change is temporary and superficial. Your anger energy has become part of the other. Please understand that the means cannot be separated from the end. That is why bloody revolutions built on anger have only resulted in bloody endings. Study history and it'll show you proof. Changes brought in a system with anger, violence, and hate, spreads like an infection throughout the system. It can't cause well being. You might use your anger against someone who insulted you as a fuel to rise out of poverty, to achieve something in life. It is possible. But what have you become in the meanwhile? Have you ever brought attention to that? You have become a monster. Crude or sophisticated is the only difference. Expressive or suppressive is the only difference. The Buddha once said, using your anger to hurt someone else is like holding a burning coal in your hand with the intention of throwing it on others, not realizing it is burning your hand first. You are mistaken if you think you are using anger. No, it is anger that is using you. Over the years, you have become an intolerant, impatient, and fault finding human being. You would have lost loved ones or become distant from them because your anger would have provoked their anger. Anger provokes further anger. Don't ever imagine that you will give in to your anger and say what comes to your head while others have to take it sitting. It does not work that way. Your anger will make the other angry. It does not end in peace or any form of realization. Anger is the wrong fuel. It is like using crude oil to fly a plane. If you want to fly, you must use aviation gasoline. Only when you shift your fuel from anger to beautiful states of passion, clear thinking, joy, love for learning, desire to make a difference, only when your fuel changes can you fly higher in life. Otherwise, you will have to make emergency landings. What I am telling you is the hard truth. Reflect on it deeply if you have the courage. Reflect on your anger if you have the passion to change yourself and live an enlightened life. In the meanwhile, I will share an anecdote with you. In rural India, there is a way of catching mischievous monkeys that come to steal from homes. The villagers deliberately leave some very aromatic desserts in a tiny hole in a tree. The monkey gets excited, smelling the desserts, and squeezes its hand through the tiny hole and gets hold of the delicious dessert. But the hole is too small for it to get its closed fist out. The monkey struggles to get its hand out of the hole, but will not let go of the dessert and so is stuck. And the villagers easily come and catch it and give it some nice thrashings. They keep the monkey tied for a day or two and leave it in the nearby forests. The terrified monkey does not easily come back into the village. That's how it is with anger. You hold on to your anger and refuse to let go of it until you commit enough wrong actions and utter enough wrong words that will lead you to getting a beating from life. Sadly, an angry mind is exactly like this monkey's mind. The more you're thrashed by life, the more tightly you will cling on to your anger. Because each time you receive a blow from life, like losing your respect, losing a job, losing your health, losing an opportunity or losing a friendship, losing a girlfriend or boyfriend because of your wrong actions, your anger only grows towards the person with whom you were originally angry. You go on blaming that person for all of your problems. You refuse to see that it is you are holding on to anger and your wrong actions that is giving you the beating, not what the other did to you years or months ago. Remember, anyone can hurt you once, can hurt you 10 times or 100 times. But what hurts you the most is yourself. It is you who hurts yourself every time you move into anger. Unless the monkey chooses to let go of the dessert, it has no freedom. Similarly, unless you make the decision to let go of your anger habit of blaming the other, there is no freedom for you. You are not free to be happy. You are not free to love again. Our ancients said that your anger is your greatest enemy. They also said your anger is the most difficult enemy to defeat. Sounds so true, isn't it? Because if you looked into yourself and asked who is hurting you the most, in unawareness, your fingers would only point in the direction of someone else. They would never point in the direction of your own angry mind. For a few moments, stop blaming someone else. Stop blaming yourself too. Calmly reflect on how much you have lost because of your angry thoughts, angry words, and angry actions. It does take courage to see yourself. You cannot stand in front of a mirror and live in denial of what you see. But it is in only seeing your own inner truth that you can become free. I don't teach anger management. I teach the way to freedom from anger. If you're up for the challenge, start the practice of serene mind meditation. It'll surely break the anger circuits in your brain. See, past is always there in your mind. You can never be free of your past. From the day you were born till today, you have all the memories that you remember, they're all from your past. So, past is a part of you. The good things of the past, the bad things of the past. But for some reason, if you are constantly feeling sorrow or sadness, then it need not be from the past that's happening to you from this life. Your past is just not from the time you were born. Your past moves beyond that. Your past is in your mother's womb. Your past is your past life. Your past is your parents flowing through you, your grandparents flowing through you, your great grandparents flowing through your ancestors. So there's a lot of past that is flowing through you, and you are experiencing your life today with that past flowing in you. Now, is it possible to become free of that sorrow that is flowing from the past? We don't know from where it's exactly flowing, but from wherever it is flowing, is it possible to become free of it? The answer is yes. It is possible to become free of this past. Today, science proves that for 3 generations, destructive emotions can pass on into your cells. That is, if you feel fear today, you can pass it on to your children to their children, and their children to their children. That is why it is so important that each and every one of you in this room become enlightened. Because if you feel love and if you feel compassion, that is what you will pass on as genetic information to your children, and their children. Just imagine how important it is. It is not how much wealth you are going to pass on. It is not what power and position you are going to pass on. It is not how much of beauty or height you are going to pass on. All that is least important if you understand how important what is the information you are going to pass on to your next generation.
Many of you have heard the painful cry of young women in Afghanistan, saying, why were we born women? Even animals have freedom to go where they want to go. Why can't we walk on the road freely? Why can't we drive freely? Why can't we talk with a stranger freely? Why can't we get educated? Why can't we shine? It is a calamity to a nation if half its population is going to be oppressed. How can your children be wise if their mothers are frustrated, uneducated, and miserable? Tears of so many women wetting the earth can only mean disaster to that country. These are karmic laws you can't escape. Families, nations, and cultures are proof to this law. Humanity, irrespective of religion or culture, has to wake up to honor and respect women. A woman is a force of nature. She's like the earth. She births, she nurtures, she inspires. And you cannot crush her. Today, let us discuss the power and potential of women, us, our mothers, our daughters, siblings, partners, bosses, colleagues, and friends. Join me in this exploration. Namaste. Who do you think is greater, man or a woman? Who do you think is wiser, man or a woman? Who do you think is designed to be a leader, woman or a man? This very question of greater and lesser, inferior and superior, is an erroneous concept that has gripped humanity. We can say only over the past few hundred years. If you looked at three of the most ancient cultures of the world, the Chinese, the Indian, and the Egyptian, they only spoke of harmonizing. They never spoke of one dominating over the other. The ancient Chinese spoke of yin and yang. The ancient Indian spoke of Prakriti and Purusha. Ancient Egyptian spoke of Nu and Naunet. And history is a proof that so long as harmony existed, society was beautiful. Rains came, children were born healthy, the world was more peaceful. The day this balance and harmony was lost, the day women became suppressed and society became male-dominated, wars broke out between people, between nations. Diseases rose, youth became wayward, they lost their purpose. That is why ancient Hindu secret, yatra naryantu pujyate ramyate tatra devata, which means in whichever family, organization, or a relationship, a woman is respected and is happy, there the divine is pleased and gives blessings of abundance. So men must respect their daughter, mother, wife, sister, and friends if they want abundance. And women must learn to truly become whole and happy. I want every woman to remember this. Please do not think that a man can make you feel whole or a man can make you feel loved if you continue to remain in an unhappy consciousness. It is only a woman who feels whole in herself. It is that woman who can give love. It is that woman who can feel loved. I see women as having 4 major dimensions to herself. Every woman has a potential to be yogini or a mystic, janani or a mother, ardhangini or a partner, netri or a leader. Let us talk of women as a yogini or a mystic. How many of you feel you are yoginis? How many of you feel you're mystics? A mystic is someone who can access a reality beyond logic. She can experience transcendental states. She can access intuition. She can connect to her higher self. She can connect to the universal intelligence. Do you know that for most men, the neural connections run from back to front in the same hemisphere of the brain? The left hemisphere standing for logic and the right hemisphere standing for intuition. But in a woman's brain, a large amount of connections run laterally between the right and the left hemispheres. That means the woman has the potential to easily move from logic to the mystical. She can quickly move from analysis to intuition. For you to awaken to the mystic dimension of your consciousness, your pineal gland, which is located right at your eyebrow center, that needs to be awakened. When your pineal gland is activated or your third eye is activated, you receive guidance from the universal intelligence. For centuries, spiritual dimension of women was suppressed. They were told that to become enlightened, they have to be reborn as a man. But Krishnaji and I are disproving these assumptions at Ekam. We have created so many women mistakes who are impacting the world today. The second attribute of a woman is Janani, or the mother. Nature has blessed a woman with a special body chemistry. A woman naturally secretes huge amounts of oxytocin, which makes her child very precious to her. When oxytocin flows, a mother is willing to forget her sleep, her comfort. She's willing to sacrifice herself for her baby. And it's unconditional love. How many of you have experienced this love for your child? Not only your child, but also for anyone's child. The truth is, this love often disappears between a mother and child as the mother begins to live more and more from stress and anxiety around one's children. You cease to be a loving nurturer, but instead become a complaining and a judging parent. Do you know why? Our state of consciousness, our body chemistry, they are closely connected. There is one state which the mother gives into which stops the secretion of oxytocin. Can you guess what that state is? It is the state of aggressive ambition. When as a mother you become obsessed that your child has to become number one. When you become obsessed that your child has to be greater than another child, then competition sets into your own mind, and that stops the oxytocin flowing in your body. Because your child becomes yet another tool for your greatness. That is when you disconnect from your child's beauty, you disconnect from what your child is actually feeling within, and then you judge your child. Whenever you compare your child with another or judge your child begins to feel lonely, even though they are with you. And a disconnected child would withdraw into, say, a world of video games or addictions and bad friendships. And the stress of being judged by you shrinks their hippocampus in the brain, destroying their memory. Only when your heart comes awake with sensitivity for what your child is feeling, and if you can accept your child's weakness and strengths with love, that is when your child truly awakens to his or her potential. That is when your child truly will fulfill one's destiny. As a mother, do you take the time to feel what your child is feeling? Let us now talk of women as ardhangini, or a partner. Do you know that the human heart has 40,000 neurons that exactly functions like another brain in the body? The heart can feel, it can decide independent of the brain and then communicate its decision to the brain. The heart just intuits while the brain goes through loops of reasoning back and forth. While both the brain and the heart are necessary. When a woman wants to choose her life partner, it is the heart neurons that needs to be awake. Most partner relationships do not endure. Do you know why? Well, there are numerous reasons, such as, say, infidelity or family pressure or health reasons, whatever. The fundamental reason why partner relationship fails is the shutting down of your heart. Why does the heart shut down? Most women have built tall walls around their hearts because of the numerous hurts, insults, and humiliations that one has accumulated from one's parents when they have looked down upon you because you were a girl child. There are hurts that you have accumulated from your in-laws' house because they have not considered you as being part of their family. Hurts have accumulated because of the society that has judged you as not being wealthy enough, trendy enough, beautiful enough, or smart enough. There are also hurts that you've accumulated from your partner. Until you become free of these hurts, you cannot connect to your partner from a beautiful state of trust. You will always be suspicious of their intentions and you will withhold love. Ardhangini in Sanskrit means half the substance, half the body, half the soul. As a woman, please do not give in to feelings of superiority over your partner. If you think you're superior, you will judge the other and not love them. If you think you are inferior, again, you will feel judged and you will feel unloved. The day you become free of your hurts, That is when your heart becomes capable of deep compassion and respect for your partner and yourself. Let us now move into the fourth aspect of womanhood, Netri, or a leader. Maybe it is from Netri that Netri, the name of the lead character in Avatar, emerged. As a woman, you could be a business leader, a leader in a family, a leader who's creating a social change, or a leader in your community or your organization. Most people ask me, Preethaji, how can you play so many roles as a wife, as a mother, as a daughter, as a daughter-in-law, as a spiritual teacher, and as a leader of many organizations, and as a mystic? I would say you too can do it if you lived in a state of connection. If you lived in a state of connection, you will be present to people, be it your team, your family. You'll be present to your problems and your challenges. You'll be able to experience immense guidance from the universal intelligence. If you do not come from a beautiful state of connection and presence, then every role will become a burden. You will feel overwhelmed. You will either sacrifice your family for your career, you would sacrifice your health for your career, or you would sacrifice your spiritual growth for your family or your career. Here is the most important teaching I want to give every woman. If you aspire to be a leader, don't make your success or your failure about yourself. You must have a bigger purpose. Your business, your career must have a larger purpose of making a difference. It must cause greater good in the world. It is only when your career has a higher purpose, only then you'll be able to be completely present and flow with profits, flow with the problems. If not for this greater purpose, you will lose your femininity. You will become masculine, aggressive, and ruthless. And this will bring dissatisfaction in other areas of your life.